This is genuinely infuriating to watch. After the Spurs got out to a nice lead in the first half, Wemby started firing from deep. Castle was playing well. The referees and the Spurs themselves screwed them out of a win as the Golden State Warriors came back to just decimate the Spurs in a game that was infuriating to watch at the end of this. And there's a few culprits, some refereeing. De'Aaron Fox is not in the good graces of the fans right now and so much more. And look, we'll start with the box score, Keenan. And I know a lot of fans want to talk about De'Aaron Fox. I know a lot of fans want to talk about the refereeing. I do want to start this video on a really positive note, though, because look, despite the negativity, despite a lot of the hatred and you know, anyway, just negative vibes around, let's bring them up just for a second. Not that Sochan, that might come up later. But this is the first time in Spurs history that two players had triple doubles in the same game. Wemby and Castle. That's a crazy stat, by the way, and ESPN did not have Wemby's 10th assist there, but the NBA does. He officially finished with 31, 15, and 10 with 8 turnovers. Really good game, even though this was a bad game from him. And Stephon Castle joins Wemby, David Robinson, Alvin Robertson, and Johnny Moore is the only Spurs sophomores with a triple-double. So Keenan, despite a lot of the stuff that we're going to get into in a minute, I did want to highlight some of the good stuff that is coming from this ever-growing and very young San Antonio Spurs roster.
100%. I'll start with Wemby because I have even more praise for Castle than even Wemby. Wemby, of course, phenomenal. Does everything that he's supposed to do on the court because it's Victor Wembanyama. The 10 assists, but the 8 turnovers. A lot of the time when he is controlling the ball up top, he can get a little loose with it. It's also really difficult to handle the ball when you are 7 feet from the ground. It's difficult to do that. That's why guards obviously are much shorter. But overall, I thought Wemby played pretty well tonight. I thought there were some things that he could have done a little better, but I think overall played pretty well. I really liked the way Castle played. He played under control. 10 assists, again, only 2 turnovers, 4 straight games in double-digit assists, and the turnovers continue to stay low and continue to keep getting lower. So shout out to Stephon Castle for getting a triple-double and putting himself on a list with some really good Spurs, and he just continues to do things in year 2 that you're like, oh, we talked about Fox in the offseason. We talked about Harper in the offseason. We talked about Wemby and his ascension. We talked about a lot of guys. Castle was the forgotten guy for a lot of, especially in the mainstream media. A lot of guys forgot about Castle, and he's showing like, no, that rookie of the year was legitimate, and I'm really a guy in this league.
Though this evolution into being a great playmaker is kind of insane to me, like so quickly how it happened. We've talked about this now, I feel like every day after each of the last few Spurs games, but you're so right. But on the other hand of that coin, you know, with the 2 assists, or the 10 assists with just 2 turnovers for Stephon Castle, getting that triple-double, which is incredible for him, is a De'Aaron Fox game. We had 13, 5, and 5 with 6 turnovers. And that on its own looks okay, pretty bad turnover-wise, but my goodness, some of the vitriol I've seen towards De'Aaron Fox is crazy. And I'm just here to say, I hope it's none of you guys, but maybe it is, and we'd love to hear from you guys down below. But my gosh, there's a lot of negativity going around based on De'Aaron Fox tonight, Keenan. And I'm going to be the first to say, this was a poor game from De'Aaron Fox, especially in the second half. He looked out of control, launched a lot of very bad passes. He had a couple of nice chances at the rim, but his jumper wasn't falling. Like, if he just had his legs under him a bit more, he could easily have shot 7 for 14 tonight, making a couple of those gimme jumpers, and we probably wouldn't be having this conversation. But the turnovers from him, for a guy that we were anticipating to be a big-time playmaker for this team, it's really not a good sign. And him and Wemby didn't really seem to have that chemistry. And some are wondering, is it a cardio issue? This dude is just like 4th game back from injury. He missed a ton of last year too. How are you feeling about Fox's performance? I'd love to hear what the fans have to say down below too, because I am going to be honest, there were some points in that second half where I really wasn't happy with his play.
No, this was his first truly bad game of the year. Like, I think he played good in other games. He played really well against the Pelicans, but overall, like, this is not a great game. And the chemistry between him and Wemby is not there. And that's understandable. They haven't had much time together. You have to remember, I believe it was February 8th was his first game in a Spurs uniform. They played a couple games together, and Wemby didn't come back after the All-Star break. So they haven't played together. Yeah. It's not like they play like overseas together or do anything like that. Like, they don't even play time together. Castle and Wemby have so many more games under their belt, even just this year, but again, last year playing together. So they're going to have a better rapport. The Fox-Wemby rapport will come along, and I do think that we need to be patient with it. we're 8-3.
Mm-hmm.
We have to remember that we are still 8-3. We're a top 3 team right now in the Western Conference, and we have a chance to avenge this loss on Friday. Though Fox did not play well, and there was definitely points where you're like, golly, I'm not loving the way he's playing. I don't think that we need to kill the man because he had one bad game against a good team, a good Warriors team that can make a lot of things difficult, and they do have a lot of guards that can put pressure on you and make things difficult for you.
Yeah, like Gary Payton II was going. I don't even know if I can call him a guard, but he was guarding everyone tonight. But like he would be doing these full court presses and making it tough. But like this tweet here from Bala, I agree. Now this was partway through the fourth when we saw, but this just can't happen on Friday. Like you can't have Wemby have 8 turnovers and Fox have 6, 14 between them. That is the difference in the game here, though there was some officiating questions we'll get into in a minute. This cannot happen from your top players. We need more of this, Wemby. Like, though, again, I am going to just take a second and say, why on earth are we not giving Wemby the ball near the basket? I feel like I'm like pounding my head against a brick wall. Like, I played basketball my whole life, right? And I'm watching this team, and I'm like, what? It can't be that hard to get him the ball down there. I understand it's not as easy as we say it is, right? Like, it's obviously not just like, well, if it was an automatic bucket every possession, they would just do it. Yeah, obviously they would. So, like, I'm not saying I'm smarter than the Spurs. I am not. Mitch Johnson, much smarter than me. Wembanyama, incredible player. Keena, I still don't understand how it feels like all of the Spurs' offensive sets revolve around Wemby either in the very high post or out around the three-point line. He crashes the net sometimes, but usually on just these slipped screens where there's sometimes a lob, but they play the lob. Like, I don't know. Am I going crazy before we dive into this refereeing stuff? Because I feel like you could have got more foul calls as well, but it's just nuts to me.
No, I completely agree on over the big thing with Wemby that we were talking about early on in the season was he's not taking threes. He is not taking threes. He took 7 tonight. He took 9 against the Bulls. And yes, he is 9 of 16 from 3. So it's not like he has been shooting the ball bad. He's been shooting really well. Shot 3 of 7 tonight with 6 of 9 the other night. But with Wemby, a lot of the time they are trying to like screen for him like he's Durant and get him on matchups up top where he gets mismatches. But the mismatches he's always going to get is going to be a smaller defender on him, and then he's not utilizing his size in the right position. What I would do personally in a little basketball conversation, and again, Popovich, Mitch Johnson, they forgot more basketball than I know. This is just me and my civilian brain thinking about basketball right now. I would just love if you want to get Wemby's on screens, just set screens from the dunker spot from a one post to the other post. So you have to get rotations on. Maybe get a back screen from Stephon Castle, who's going to be guarded by either Steph Curry, GP2, whomever. And then now you get Wemby on the block with GP2 on his back at 7 feet out. And all he has to do is turn and shoot. Yeah. It just seems like we sometimes run such complicated sets to get Wemby into positions where he doesn't need to be in, where he's 23, 24 feet away from the basket with GP2 on him, instead of being 8 to 12 feet away with GP2 on him to try to get Draymond off of him, because Draymond's obviously a Hall of Fame level defender.
Yeah, well, like, what drives me nuts, too, though, is that the Warriors don't really have a rim protector. And, like, we still weren't, like, Wemby was trying to drive on Draymond, which is good, which worked a couple times, and then Draymond flopped like a fish. Was a foul, getting doubled in the head. I'm not going to say it wasn't, but anyway, like, all these kind of crazy things. And anyway, we'll see how they counteract this next game, because Wemby still had a good...
Drive on Draymond. Like, that's the thing. I love the way he was attacking Nikola Vucevic.
Yeah.
Vucevic is big, and he is strong, but he can't slide with Wemby. That's the thing about it. You are so much taller than Draymond Green. If you watch the Nuggets play the Warriors ever, Jokic abuses Draymond in the post because he can't do anything with him because Draymond is 6'7" listed, but he is really 6'5". Like, he is 6'5"-ish. So I just don't understand sometimes the sets that we run for him, but we can
talk about we'll move on. Every time, my brain is rotted when you said Draymond's height.
It genuinely does. I get so confused.
No, when you said his height, my brain got rotted. Sorry.
No, I know.
We're gonna move on. Listen, the final thing we got to talk about. Look, the Spurs shot themselves in the foot. I'm not going to lie. The refs did not cost us this game, but I did have some interesting evidence here. Kirk Goldsberry's pointing out Steph Curry. Now, Steph ended up shooting more than this, right? It was 16 free
16
throws.
free throws.
This was just at 1 point. Curry had more free throws than the Spurs' entire team. And the Spurs had 42 points in the paint with only 12 free throws. The Warriors, 18 points in the paint, 28 free throws. Now, again, I think that actually did go up as the game went on, or maybe it did not. But, like, still, the Warriors had way more free throws, despite the Spurs being in the paint way more. There were countless layups or possessions around the rim where Spurs were just getting hit on the elbow left and right. We were finishing through the contact, and the refs were not calling it. And again, not the difference in the game, but the fact that the Warriors were getting that veteran's whistle. The refs, every time Warriors put up a shot, they miss. Oh, wait, that's got to be a foul. Happened, I swear, 4 or 5 straight possessions. Just another thing, the young team is not going to get the veteran's whistle like that. I wish Fox got it a little bit. I think he was getting bumped a bit, but anyway, Castle's still getting some free throws himself, 7 free throws tonight, but like, again, Keenan, like, this is not going to help if your entire bench can't get a single free throw and the Warriors are getting that many. Look, it's not an excuse because I don't think it cost us the game, but just one more thing to be infuriated at in this game that just drove me mad.
It drove me mad too, and I hope that the Spurs have this kind of fire in their belly because they go and play in a more important game on Friday to the Emirates Cup. So that matters to me at least. So I hope they have some more fire in their belly. But I mean, Scott Foster thought Chris Paul was on the court again, like for the Spurs. He doesn't play on the Spurs anymore. Like we don't need to get that whistle, unfortunately. But yeah, Steph Curry ended with 16 free throws. Hasn't shot that many free throws since 2021, and the Spurs ended with 16 free throws. Like, just overall 32 of 36 for the Warriors when we have 30 more points in the paint than the Warriors did in that game. And I understand that they're calling threes different now a little bit, but it wasn't all on 3-point shots. So Steph getting downhill, and the veteran Steph did a good job of doing his best to draw contact. But if you're going to have that whistle on that end, you need to extend the same whistle on the other end. We easily should have shot around 24 to 28 free throws. Easy. And this wouldn't even be like roughly a conversation. But again, I do want to say this the same way you said it. Though the refs were a little bit of just kind of just a thorn in the side, that was not the reason we lost this game. We lost this game because we turned the ball over 20 times. We did not utilize Wemby in the proper ways where you and I both think there. And I just think that the Warriors thoroughly outplayed us in the second half, especially in that third quarter.
Crazy how not using Wemby the proper way still leads to 31, 15, and 10
Listen,
on 50%
he's
shooting.
so good. Like, he is that good to wear 31, 15, and 10 and us feeling like, man, we just didn't use him properly.
But it's not even that. It's just that, like, I know watching the game that, like, he could, like, if Cade Cunningham could shoot 45 shots in a game, Wemby can shoot 30 shots. Like, I just know, especially against a team that doesn't have that many rim protectors, that felt like an easy 31. A bunch of them were on jumpers. Like, anyway, that's my thing with Wemby.
Like, this was 31, 15, and 10. This should have been 44, 15, and 4 with like 2 turnovers.
Yeah.
Like, genuinely, he should have had in the 40s tonight because there is nobody. Old Al Horford, Quentin Post, Draymond Green should not be able to check Wemby because they just don't have this quick difference of size. Or Gary Payton II. Like, are you kidding? Like, all he had to do every time he got to the paint and touched the ball within the paint, like, that was a bucket. It just seemed like he just didn't want to get there.
Well, I'll say I think he did want to,
want to get, sorry, because maybe not want. Just
like, I mean, Wemby, we know how badly he wants to win, but like, I just feel like there's other ways to keep doing it. And look, you get that cagey mentality, that dog mentality. We got time to come back Friday night. Leave your thoughts on this 100%. Infuriating game down below. That'll do it for this episode. But hey, hit the subscribe button if you made it this far. I'm pissed off. So is Keenan. Listen, we'll catch you all in the next one.